Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You reached the Boho Info Show, and tonight is Saturday night, and we've got a doozy of a show tonight. We're going to talk into the mysteries of the unknown or the unknown phenomenon. Yeah, that might be part of your UFO stuff. Yeah, that might be part of the Antarctica stuff. Yeah, it might be some things you didn't know about, and you just never know what we talk about, right? So, tonight, we're going to be talking about many of those topics that you see in the channel there that we're going to be talking about. And I will be putting links to the topics of what we talk about so that there's no problem with censorship saying that I'm fake anything because we're talking about a topic, okay? First of all, like I say, take what we say with a grain of salt and throw it over your shoulder for protection, but at the same time, do your own research, okay? The other thing is that we make no claims on anything medically or otherwise. And if we ever have callers or any opinions out there, that we don't portray any of their opinions or phone calls or anything that we may ever get in the future. And you always know that we always make our opinions throughout our show on everything that we do. So stay tuned. I hope you enjoy the show. And by the way, this one you might need to have a piece of paper and a pencil and jot notes down, because we're going to show some correlation and connecting the dots type thing, but we're also going to, ask the question, what if, or questioning things, right? So this one is going to put a perspective maybe on connecting things, but at the same time, with the past two big shows that I had urgent, what do you call it, flashes on? Okay, you guys know where it is in my tube channel. That this is going to you're going to have to see how that connects with those two shows, okay? And always in past history, things always connects itself. And I always see patterns and things. I try to teach you guys the same thing. And just, go with the flow here. You know what I'm saying? So this is going to be a very, very interesting show. I hope you enjoy it, and take notes all along. If for some reason you might be buffering or skipping, just reload the show. And if you ever miss parts of it and you want to hear it again at the end of this time, when I get done with the show, it will be posted in Twitter. And then from there, you guys can rewind it however many times you want to and watch it, right? All right. So let's get into it. And if you want to make comments, you can do it in the comment area, but make sure you guys follow me wherever my shows are, especially in Twitter and all the links that I put in Twitter, okay? Because you never know where my show might be popping up from, okay? Follow where the trail is, you know what I'm saying? All right. Anyway, so let's get into it. The first thing I want to talk about is Alcatraz. And the mysteries of Alcatraz evidently is surfacing again, where they're saying all along that this has been supposedly a cloning facility, not only for the GOV, but for military and maybe other things. You never know how, and everything that's going on in the world right now with current day situations, that we have to question everything, So I wanted you to see this, and I will give you the link towards the end of this one. But there is codes, even in TV shows I told you guys about. And I'm going to start throughout it and comment and stuff. This one is the Ellen DeGeneres show, and watch.
So is dead. Oh, shoot. Steve Jobs is dead.
Did you hear that? Now, remember I told you how TV shows slip up with coding, pre-programming, everything else, okay? So even though you think that they're kidding, okay, now and even in the past, when you think they're kidding on making comments, even on TV shows like this one, which is a talk show, they're serious. Okay, think about it.
Yeah, Walt Disney is dead. I'm dead. He's dead. He's a clone.
See? And the reason why he's saying that is everybody's like, they're mystified at the same time, but at the same time, they're like, what? He's crazy. But then again, knowing how the Freemason branches work, knowing how the GOV branches work, everything else in their little, black budget and their little whatever crap all connected together. This correlates with it. Okay, this is a confirmation that he's kind of consciously telling the public on TV as well as the live audience at the Ellen Show on this stuff that, hey, you guys think that I'm a comedian. You might think this is funny, but he's really portraying it as a funny thing when it really is, serious. Okay. There is that type of weird programming going on. So give me a minute here while this goes. And I will give you the link on this. Hopefully it will go here. Come on.
He's a clone.
There's a guy in the background that's watching the show saying that he's a clone.
He's a clone.
You're awful slow. I'm already dead.
And they also have the statistics on 9/11. And they said that only 2,000 people in 9/11 were killed, when in actuality there was 30,000 people in 9/11 killed. But here's the kicker. It says clones used to replace killed U.S. soldiers.
And that is on that letterhead from the department here of the chairman, okay, of the joint, I can't even read it, chiefs of staff, okay? I'll give you the link.
Are they admitting they fucking use clones?
Bingo. Alright, so I'm going to turn that down just for, sake of any kind of weird copyrighty stuff. I don't know. But watch how the screen changes from one person into another person. Some people in the UFO community calls this shape-shifting. Okay? Others people calls it cloning. See the resemblance? Watch. Now remember, this has happened not only currently, but this has happened since the beginning of our government. And it's not just ours. Every global government is doing it.
My clothes may still be torn and tattered, but in my heart I see a king.
See? And these, by the way, this one and the one that you just saw were soldiers.
Love is all that ever mattered. It's everything.
Watch. Now also think about in the 1920s with Al Capone and all the mobsters and stuff in different areas, not only here in the States, but abroad. Now you can obviously see on this one right here, according to his collar, that that one is a Navy person. Watch the changes.
Golden dreams will not come true. Or will I go?
See, now this one almost looks like what? Sylvester Stallone, and that one almost. But watch.
My fate is up.
Okay, here's a classic mobster one. Says here, according to the Illuminati, Alcatraz is known as the body farm and has been moved to an undisclosed location. So in other words, Alcatraz is still secretly existing. So again, this might be part of that big black budget, part of the actual whole 9 yards of the situation. So let's just stop there a minute and think about something. I want you guys to think about this. Put it on your pad, write it down, whatever. You correlate it, you connect the dots. If they have these secret areas where they call them body farms, okay, who's to say if, and I'm just saying a big if and possibility, that if they do a mass arrest on our politicians, okay, and you guys know who I'm talking about out there, it's highly possible they can go to these body farms and they could clone them into future use for something else. Okay, just think about that. It's like recycling life, recycling things. Yeah, so. And for those who think that Alcatraz is just a touristy trap and you go visit there and stuff like that, there's a lot about it you don't know. And this is one of those. See, there's a crime museum, right? So it says here that William Marvin Bass III, born August 30th, 1928, is an American forensic anthropologist best known for his research of human osteology and human decomposition. And he's also assisted federal, local, and also non-U.S. authorities in identifying human remains. Let's see. Through his current teaching still plays with a research facility he founded. The facility is more popularly known as the Body Farm. Okay, the Body Farm, which is referring to Alcatraz. Okay, as a name used by the crime author Patricia Cornwell, novel same which was drew an inspiration from Dr. Bass and his work. So, and the actual, it says much is happening in the world of replicating skulls and skeletons since Bone Clone Inc. So it's called Bone Clone Inc. It's an actual corporation. Began in 1993. So those UFOs out there, people that go into the UFO stuff about cloning, it's already happening on Earth. It's been happening at least by 1993, if not before. This is the proof in front of your face, and I will give you the link. So it says here, let's see, they started cloning from real resin and then did replicas, and just to see if they were looking real or not. They were also using zoology replicas, convincing, and they were broken easily. So then they, kept on perfecting the art of it, I guess you'd say. And then many years later, they were pleased with that. Bone Clone Inc., the brand, became well accepted for replicas on a regular variety educational disciplinary anthropology to zoology type of study and whatever's. Let's see. Bone clones have made donations to the crime museum, which is Alcatraz. So not only are they running secret organization out of Alcatraz, but they're also donating money to the crime museum, which the crime museum is Alcatraz, to honor the memory of Karen Remley Burns, a forensic anthropologist, trusted the valuable consultation of bone clones in the area and identify other remains and so on and so forth. So there is a correlation there. And then you always can follow money trails in reverse. So yeah, you can always check that out. And you can go into his financials on that and look at that. And here's some more for how it goes over time. Here is also some other correlation I want you guys to see, which is dealing even with cartoons. Cartoons even give away coding as well. This is why no coincidence with James Hetfield would sing Ride the Lightning, which is about the anxiety and trusting of the resurrection process, the transferring of conscious into a new cloning body after receiving the electric chair in prison. So think about that. How many people have been on death row, had the electric chair in prison? Right? So they're even doing it that way. Now, this was an actual song. You're just seeing the lyrics for it. I'm going to shut that off so you can see the lyrics in front of your face. But lyrics also gives you a like pre-programming or a code or a pattern that also you can research on and also correlate with things happening. And a lot of people weren't really picking up in the music industry, because remember, the music industry is just as saturated with corruption as the what do you call it, movie business and anything else, otherwise. And so they leave their mark or their what do you call it, crumbs, bird crumbs behind for those that are smart enough to pick them up, right? And so right here in front of your faces, you're seeing all the verbiage on here. This gives you the bird crumbs of the pattern, of the clue, of the code, of what they're trying to let the public know without coming out outright saying exactly what they saw, what they did, what they were involved with, and the eyewitness of what they were involved with. And this is a way where they can hide a lot of evidence, even, when it comes to stuff like that. So yeah, let's go back to this.
Steve Jobs is dead.
See, you hear that?
Walt Disney is dead.
And Ellen, see, she's part of the corruption too. See, she's part of like that. What do they call it? What do you call it? The gay mafia stuff. Over there in California. And she was shocked that he would come out and say that when she thought he was part, of the whole thing, and he's not supposed to be saying it. You know what I mean?
I'm dead.
He's dead. He's a clone.
See, now think about that, okay? And he went to go visit who? The T-Man. Remember that in New York? He went to visit the T-Man. Was it the real him, or was it the clone that visited the T-Man? Think about it. Is this a clone that was a spy for the government and the three-letter agencies? Or, what I'm saying? Put it on paper. I'm not, going to expose that, but you guys can check that one out.
He's a clone. He's a clone.
All right. It says here, this is why Kane posted this video advocating for clones to have sovereignty. So now, remember how they had that little AI robot that has citizenship in the middle countries there of the East, right? And she got it. Well, now they're trying to do the same thing with the sovereignty with the clones, right? Think about it. All the correlation and connections always that is followed by a money trail that connects the global governments and everyone else and the politicians. Now, who's that, right? David Bowie, right?
At the record company meeting, I sold my soul to make a record.
Now watch. Mick Jagger, right? There's Kane. I don't know who he is or her. I think they're in the music industry. There you go. Another one.
Play my music slow. They They take your money, break your soul. They say it's only rock and roll.
Now remember that when Elvis died, right? Now think about that. I know there's a lot of supposedly conspiracies about that he's living. He's an old man. He looks like Santa Claus right now. And he's just out of the music industry and everything else. Did he already leave before his death, right? Let's just say he left before his death, right? And they had a clone in his place singing in the 70s. Okay, let's just say they already had a clone in place in the 70s at all the concerts, even ones in Hawaii and wherever else he played. Okay, and then he died, and then the clone died. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. What better way to leave the music industry, right? Is to clone you. Pardon me while I get a drink here.
Industry rule number 4080. Record company people are shady. Cause all you people are vampires.
Now, all these ones that are on the actual, what you're seeing, are the ones that supposedly been documented as being cloned.
You suck my blood like a leech. Is your conscience all right? Does it?
Did you hear that? You suck the blood like a leech. What do you think they're doing with the kids? The same thing. Are they cloning kids? Why are they cloning kids? Is it because of, the stimulant that it takes for, some of the Democrats to drink it or whatever, in their bath and all that stuff? Or are they actually using the bodies to do something else for future generations, for the music industry and the movie industry and other things?
I make music for freedom. Corporate forces running this rap shit. And all those labels be trying to lure us in like spiders into the web. You know what I'm saying? We'll show them how it's supposed to be. We're going to fight against the flashy of him.
So these are all, and it's interesting that a lot of them got police records, right?
We're going to kill the 7-record deal. I guess for America.
Always cloning people that have police records. Now, I don't know how many out there in my audience have come across someone that might have been put in jail for something, whether it was for a DUI or something bigger or worse, I don't know. But if they probably got you in there, they probably got you a clone. Now, I've heard of people saying, hey, yeah, I saw my double, or someone was saying that they saw me somewhere else and I wasn't there, So that's highly possible that you might be cloned without your permission somewhere else on the world, But anyway, it says here, this is why the final Antichrist is seen as their Messiah, because under the final Antichrist, he presents himself as sovereignty as their own God. However, according to the book of Daniel, this promise will soon be realized as false and will lead into Armageddon. And write that word Armageddon down, because that's going to be a very interesting one, probably in my part 2 of my program. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it tonight because it's going to be a little bit lengthy. But, yeah, if not, I'll definitely do it tomorrow, okay? So here's Babyface Nelson and Kimmy talk about the resemblance. So Formula One, cloning who most closely replicates the original without dramatification. There are only mild discrepancies. So think about cryogenics and saving someone's body for the future, and they revamp them, right? That's one way of cloning. There's other ways as well, They can do it through DNA. Look at all the people that took the CV shot. There you go, bingo, right? Let's see. So, yeah. And I want you to look at face resemblance on all this stuff. If you have to rewind my show to go back to some of those other ones to look at the resemblance, do it. Okay? There's formula number 2. Clones who share the same template of the original, but they make modifications like the nose. Okay, let's go back to that one. That was an important one. This is because this is a good way to recognize someone if they're cloned or not, So yeah, it says, let's see, like a slimmer nose, reduced jawline. They can expand brow area, move your ears around, stuff like that. Remember, we get plastic surgery, like with was it Bruce Jennings? Remember that? Same way where they can clone now this way too. Car accidents, put your body on ice, then later what? Clone you, right? Again, here it says, now you know the master puppet is an anti-master and pro-sovereignty and the message for the cloned. And this is actually in an actual song, I think, from Metallica. But I will give you the link on that one. Give me a minute here and I will put that one up. I believe, let's see where we at here. Got to find the right one. Give me a minute. And if you guys want to comment in the comment area, go ahead. If you got questions, put that in the comment area, etc. and so on. I think, did I put that one in there? Maybe. Okay, hang on. I have to find the right one. Okay, I got it. All right, so I'm going to put that link in the bottom. You'll see that scrolling on the bottom for the link on that one. There you go. All right, now the next one that we're going to talk about on the topic is something very, very strange is going on in the center of the Earth. Now, for you flat earthers or hollow earthers or people that think there's something in the middle or whatever it is, this might be for you. I don't know. But this was posted on June 11th, 2020, where scientists detected an unexpected widespread structure near the Earth's core. Now, everybody thought, well, the Earth's core is molten lava, right? Or had crystallized. The last report here about a month ago was that there was a spot of it, like a eighth of it, that kind of crystallized. So there was like a solid mass there, kind of like what do you call it? A geoid, kind of thing. And if you remember seeing the movie The Core, remember that? They did go through a geoid before they got to the lava. Okay. So there's correlation kind of matching things up on that if you saw the movie The Core. Okay. But this was at the University of Maryland. Okay. Where the geophysicists have, I guess, evidently found things. But they analyzed thousands of recordings of seismic waves. Seismic waves are the waves that make you like your earthquakes, and stuff like that, or it makes the earth move, and sound waves traveling through Earth. And they identified echoes from boundaries between the Earth's molten core and the solid mantle layer above it. And echoes revealed more widespread heterogeneous structure near areas unusually dense in hot rock at the core's mantle bounty than previously known. So on June 12th, they issued in the Journal of Science this finding, evidently, that they found. And the researchers focused on echoes in the Pacific Ocean basin, revealing a lot of unknown structures beneath the volcano of Marconis Islands in the South Pacific. And I think that's kind of interesting right here, because usually you have an active volcano and it has lava tubes, and sometimes they dry up, sometimes they move around, and even the Earth, if the Earth shifts, a lava tube can shut off the lava flow, and then it's there and it's open, and then the lava is redirected. We already did this on other shows, but it might be possible that maybe the actual area is, a lava tube where it went down to a structure. I'm just saying, what if, it could be possible. But it says here the Marquesas Islands in the South Pacific showed that the structure beneath the Hawaiian Islands is much larger than previously known. Now, I want you to think about this and correlate something, connect the dots, kind of research it yourself, put it on your own little palette. But think about this. Remember Mr. Obama there came from Hawaii, right? And everybody thinks he's the anti-person, right? And that comes from where? The boundaries of down below, right? I'm just saying, okay? Something to think about. But anyway, so they evidently went with UMD, Department of Geology, and basically recorded all these echoes. And basically the way, if you read the whole article all the way down, which I'll give you the link to, it basically shows that there was a mass down there that's unidentified right now, and all they're doing is basically bouncing waves and kind of echoing and x-raying and things, and evidently something's down there that they don't know about, and they're going to probably research it, in the future. So let me give you that link as well on that one, which is kind of really interesting reading here. So I'll give you that one next, which is this link, which will be in the bottom of your scrolling area. You'll see that next. You guys can look it up with your access on that one. And that should be that one right there. All right. Now you're going to say, okay, so what does all this have to do with Alcatraz? And now we got a mass underneath, the ground or in the core, okay? When I thought it was either hollow or no, it wasn't hollow and it had lava. Well, you got to kind of put yourself out there with a wide mind and say, well, we've been seeing a lot of meteorites whizzing by the Earth lately, right? I mean, who's to say a meteorite whizzed through our situation? We know a lot of them have hit the Earth. Maybe one penetrated as far down as the core. And even though the temperature is exceeding the temperature of, or the same temperature as the sun, there could be certain meteors out there that can take that kind of heat and stay as a solid mass. You understand? Feel me there, right? Okay. Just saying, think about it, research it, check it out. I don't know, just an idea, possibility, you never know. Now, the other thing is going to correlate with this structure. Okay, I got some more stuff on that one. And they have a new prospect on it, I guess. And this is kind of like what they're talking about, right? So they're basically saying that, there's a liquid iron core, but supposedly a hot, dense structure is almost in the center, not quite. And then Hawaii's here, so it's going down. If you guys remember the movie The Core, okay? Remember they took that little thing down into the ocean, right? To get down to the thinnest plates in the ocean, and that was where? In the Pacific, right? And then they explored the core, remember that? And then they went through a geoid before they actually got to the molten lava area where they released the little BBs in there so that they could make the core move again. Remember that? Okay. So evidently this hot, dense structure that's down there could be possible that a meteorite could actually hit the Pacific Ocean at enough force, okay, that it went down into the core, being that is probably the thinnest area of penetration on the platelets and the earth and stuff like that. Probably the thinnest area, right? But also correlate this with the movie Core, when they came back to surface at the top. Remember that? And they had to use, what did they have to use? Remember, they ran out of juice, on their spaceship thing, right, to get back to the surface. How they do it? They did it through what? Electromagnetic pulses coming from what? The core, when it was, putting off its what is it? The electronic energy from the core, right? And so it turned on its mechanisms and got the ship going to make it to the surface. But how did they make it through the surface? They ran through lava tubes all the way to the top, to the surface, where they came out by where? Hawaii. I'm telling you, people, you've got to pay critical attention and pick movies apart. These are actual patterns and codes and things that are even pre-programming or whatever you want to call it, okay, that they're telling people, and there's not, you not only have to be awake for all this to understand all the information, but you have to have a certain IQ level to decipher it and to filter it and to make sense of it. You know what I mean? So anyway, so here is a structure in front of you right now that they're actually checking out of this density that's in the core right now. And they're checking out because of the location, because it's near the Hawaiian Islands. We know there's all kinds of volcanoes there. We just had one go off, right? So think about that, okay? What if, a meteorite hit? Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. If it's not a meteorite, then what is it? Is it kind of like the same thing that, Yellowstone has, maybe? Or is it an actual pyramid maybe underneath there? Because we've heard of other things, right? We've got Atlantis underneath the ocean and other things underneath the ocean. We spotted all kinds of different ancient civilizations underneath the ocean, right? So who's to say this could be one too, right? Remember back in the time, the way the Earth shifts, okay, and moves on its axis, plus also the actual level of the sea level is higher now than it's ever been in history. So way back when, the sea level could have been a lot lower. Hawaii could have been the Andes Mountains. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, think about it. It's just, we have the answers. It's just the problem is we don't have the scientists. They're learning all this book stuff and they're not thinking on their own 2 feet, and they're like using all these calculations and everything else when it boils down to in front of their face common sense, Anyway, I'm not going to get on that. Anyway, but I wanted you to see this map so it gives you perspective. So like California, the West Coast and all that's over here. And then you got the Asias and Australia down here. So they're just giving you an idea what inside that little core and the black mass is. Now, if you remember in the movie Core, remember they said they went through black masses and they said, oh, well, that's diamonds. Remember that? And then they got through another area which was nothingness, which was kind of like the black hole in space. Remember that? This could be that as much, But the way they're talking, and from what I'm seeing so far in my research, I'm just seeing where it could be either or. I'm pointing to either. It's either diamonds or it could be the actual black space kind of thing that's out in space right now, which is a nothingness of space, it doesn't register. And you got to remember, if you look at the same formula that they did in the movie where they're detecting how that spaceship was going to go through the core, and especially that area that was supposedly recorded on all their instruments as a nothingness, but it was a density of nothingness. This could be the same thing. You got to remember, we have technology getting more and more advanced, and we can detect things like this, okay? But here's the other thing. We also have other technologies that can kill the Earth, poison it, and create this nothingness, like CERN, like HARP. Those programs can actually create this in the center of the core. Think about that. Research that. Anyway, this is Marilyn again talking about all that, and it basically did simulations with analysis of hundreds of earthquakes to identify echoes featuring it deep in the earth of where it's coming from. Let's see. So, whoops, there's another one right there. So it gives you an explanation roughly how it works with sound wave. So like here's an earthquake, and they'll have a satellite or they'll have buoys or they'll have things on the earth, and it will record where and how everything's being happening. Let's see if it will show it on this. I don't know if it will. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Okay. All right, hang on a minute. Let me go back. But I don't know, you guys should know how earthquakes run. They're like a wave in the ocean, right? So once a wave goes, you know what I'm saying, it keeps going until it smacks into something and then it comes back kind of thing. Well, I kind of messed up that page. Anyway, let me give you the link on that because there is other areas in there that can show you. Okay, hang on a minute. Here's the next link. That's the one to that page there that I want you guys to correlate with and to look at, because you're going to say, well, you know, what does this still have to do with anything, you know? And there's a bigger agenda, okay, a bigger agenda, and it has to be exposed, I guess, because there's no transparency on our government. So we have to do it this way, I guess, because they're not assuming their responsibilities under oath, I guess. So yeah, anyway, let's go to the next one here. The next one I'm going to talk about is correlating with the cloning the Earth with inner Earth, okay? And I know a lot of you guys out there know about Antarctica, North and South, right? But I want to show you some pictures here. And I want to correlate with certain things, because what you're seeing in front of your face right now is what you're going to see is going to be different secretive pictures from Antarctica that may have not been all shown on the internet, okay? This one here reminds me of what? Mining, right? You know how they mine for copper, right? I'm just saying. And remember, according to ancient texts and everything else, a lot of the ancient aliens or whatever are mining for different minerals and metals. There was Sumerian gods and Aztec gods, and one particular god that was made of gold that was mining for gold and wanted slaves to mine for gold, where there was other ones that were doing other things, okay? But you also have to look at this particular picture and correlate it with all the sinkholes that are happening lately, right? Here in the States, we're hearing a bunch of them up there in the Siberia area of Russia, right? Who's to say that they were mining stuff that covered it up? All of a sudden, you know, our sea level's raising, but yet our Antarctica and our Arcticas are melting and things are getting revealed, right? I'm just saying. But some of these pictures, some of you guys seen, okay? Some of you haven't. But since the earliest, I think, has been explored up there was around the 16th century. 15th to 16th century, whenever they were first made ships. And they show through the time. These are some historical kind of pictures. These are all real pictures, okay? These are historical pictures. And I wanted to show you that because sometimes even in past pictures, they can show clues like this one here. Everybody knows that there's pyramids up there at Antarctica. There's 3 of them. And they're almost in the same arrangement as the pyramids over in Egypt. Some of you already know it. Some of you don't. You can research it and check it out. And everybody's like saying to me, well, why is there pyramids in Antarctica? Well, think about it. If we were on a different positioning on the globe, maybe that was the right position at the time to point towards Sirius, right? And again, these are all real pictures. Supposedly, this is the lake. And this looks like a little volcano in the lake kind of thing to me. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'll move it up a little bit. There we go. And then they have like in the snow passages to places. A lot of you guys know about the, what do you call it? Locker up there that holds all the seeds for the globe, right? Well, they've got, and I'm going to tell you this probably before I even get to it, but they also have a big computer system up there, and they have a huge cloning system up there. Some of you seen these where they, like in, what do you call it, Hitler's time, where they had subs and things going under Antarctica because they had a base there. Remember that? There's a close-up of the other one that gives kind of clue of mining. They're mining, right? Maybe they're mining, maybe they're not, you know. And a lot of these structures weren't done by man. That's just the way these snow structures are. Why? Because maybe they had buildings underneath them, or castles, or pyramids, or things of some kind of structure. None of this stuff was built by a human hand, you know, in the day when they were taken on the pictures. And right now you can go on Google Earth and you can look at Antarctica, how they're melting, how it's revealing more and more. It's really interesting to see. I know a few years back on Google Earth, you could actually spot openings in the mountain where spaceships could have gone in and out. Okay? Or have gone in and out, I should say. But anyway, yep, it's very interesting. And here's right there, there's a passage right there that goes down in, and that is not a submarine popping up. Because you can tell by the picture, there's an old, like 18th century cutter kind of ship, okay? So, you know, was this part of a spaceship? You know, was this an opening to a spaceship that evidently crashed there, or it's part of a mothership that's underneath the whole continental area of the Antarctica area, holding up the ice cap? You know what I'm saying? Or is this just a secret underground cavern? It's like an opening from the surface that goes down into secret passages, kind of thing. You know what I mean? And it's very rough terrain. You're going to see some very interesting pictures coming up shortly. And like I say, these are all historical value type pictures. Some with nature, some without. And you can tell the time span of when and how long they've traveled there according to the types of ships that have come and gone. See, so we know there's expeditions there, there's proof there now, right? And they've done it throughout time after Hitler because of the way you can look at the age of these type of vehicles. Okay. And then again there. Let me get to some juicier ones here for you guys. But I want you to correlate this. Okay, here we go. This is one of them I wanted to show you. This is an actual radar station that they put up, evidently, or was already there. This could have been one of those, areas that was covered completely. It looks like a snow-covered kind of mountain that they basically uncovered. And it became like a radar station. And if you think about it, yeah. And then also the same thing with underground vehicles going into the ocean, okay, which is mysterious alone by itself in anywhere in the world, let alone there. And then this was interesting. I want to stop on this frame here for a minute because this is the actual core. This is like the center of the Earth. This is where, what is it? I think his name's Byrne, that flew over the area. Remember that in the Air Force or whatever it was back in the day, his expedition, and they told him not to fly over the hole. Okay, well, here is an actual picture of the hole back in the time, and you see how the ice was melting and how water is going into it. Water's actually going into it from Antarctica. Especially if you look over here, this side over here, you'll see the water just melting and pouring right into it. Same thing with over here. Now, we know from just normal stuff, without actually going to the North Pole or South Pole to look into the holes, okay, that normal sinkholes, if you're around anything of water, of course it's going to go in there, but usually then it stays there. When the water goes into these holes, they keep going. You can't see the bottom. You can't hear it hit the bottom. It just goes like a waterfall. But I had to stop because that was interesting there. And then here, if I can get it moving up to another frame, let me pull these other ones out where I'm at here. Okay, yeah, that one there. This was taken in 2011. February, the end of February. Okay. And the purple area, of course, is where the coldest area is. Okay. And then you got Greenland down here where this white snowy stuff is, and then Canada and all that, whatever. Okay. But you can see where land came really close to it at that time because the ocean is so cold, it's purple. But here is the hole. This was actually done by satellite. The hole was extremely dense and very organized. Now, this is the other thing I wanted to stop on. They supposedly up here in the North Pole area, okay, called the Asenc area. ASENC, back in the old map days, okay? And then the actual area called Asgard area. Now, I want you to think about something, correlate it, kind of research it on your own kind of thing. But they have spaceships or a spaceship that they're building in space for people to live on called Asgardia. Some people are getting to be members of it. They have their own political party. They have all kinds of things going on. So are they preempting that there's going to be a problem with the Earth, or is there overpopulation? They have to expand the population into space. This is why they're speeding up, the trips going to Mars and to the moon, and then building this Asgardia up in space and all that stuff. Okay. But I thought that was kind of interesting because I have researched Asgardia a little bit. That might be for another show, but they're very organized, extremely organized. And they look for certain talents, and they will not accept all people. So, yeah. Let's see, let's go further into it a little bit more, if I can. I don't know if this will or not. Let's see. Okay, that's just music. Okay. So this is another picture that I thought was kind of interesting too. This isn't recent. This is an older picture. Of course, these are historical pictures I'm showing you. But again, this shows you quite many years back that the actual Antarctica was a complete ice shelf. And if you look way up on top here where my pointer is, you cannot find any opening end. There's no mountains. There's no peaks. There's no, what do you call it? Vast amounts of water like a lake or anything else like that. It was just a solid mass. And that was like the end of it. And then the rest of it is like the rest of the different oceans here in the regular areas, right? To your left on the picture. So I thought, how times have changed and changed the earth. And when looking at the North and South Pole perspective of how the ice caps over there on both ends have changed right along with the whole and, the whole 9 yards. This shows you how a lot of the cap actually where they had a mountain here and it went right down into the ocean, showing the bottom area, shelf area. And imagine with enough tidal waves, I guess it would break loose. That's why you have your icebergs and all that, floating around. But I thought that was kind of interesting because this shows that there's a weird shelf there, right? And a picture of the moon there with the ice. So it shows the direction of where the moon comes up and sun sets kind of thing to show you direction on how the wobble of the earth is too. That's a pattern code there. Same thing with an actual research station that's up there in that area. There's still ongoing research in both areas, both north and south. It's very interesting, even with the one there with the seed bank, what they're doing right now. But what I thought was really interesting is how they have a huge computer system up there. Okay, and this is the other picture. This is an actual opening, okay, in the mountain. Some of you guys already saw that, where they actually spotted crafts coming out. So since the Hitler time to currently now, there's a lot of secret space programs and black budget programs that are happening in our poles, both in the north and the south. We're not the only government. Every government is doing something in there. Well, not every government, but the bigger governments, I'll say. There's a really good picture of the pyramids right there. And remember, I told you the wobble. The wobble is placement for Sirius over in Egypt, when they were looking for the stars in astrology. Same way with here in the North Pole. It could have been at a different wobble, and it lines up. There is a ghost picture right there. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me see if I can have something to point to on that one. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. But right here is a line. That is a ghost picture of a pyramid. See it right there? Ghost picture of a pyramid. And also they're saying supposedly spacecraft with rays and stuff like that. There's a good pyramid right there. So think about the wobble on the Earth. Maybe over 5,000, 10,000, 100,000 years ago or more, where the placement of those pyramids in the Antarctica are at, according to where the true North Pole is. See, here's another one. So evidently something visit there, right? And here's an ancient map as well, showing the different areas outlined here in red of where the mysterious parts of Antarctica is, I guess. And I'll give you guys a map on that one, or the correlation on this one too. Give me a minute. All right, let me find that one for you guys here. If you guys got any questions, put it in the chat. You want to say hello to everybody, you can do that too, whatever you want to do. All right, so this one coming up in the bottom is that link there showing the proof and evidence on all the other stuff that we're talking about, that we just talked about here on this one. So, yeah. So correlate that with the secret space program, correlate it with the black budget and deep space, or what do you call it? Shoot. Here, I'll go back here. There we go. Hang on a minute. I lost my train of thought. Give me a minute, guys. All right. Anyway, correlate that with, like I said, with all that and with the black budget and why all of a sudden we have to pass these green deals. Okay. These green deals have nothing to do with saving the earth. Okay. Money in the pocket and money for projects, black budget stuff, and the secret space program. This is core. The money's being pushed in those directions on what I just went over. Okay, this has been going on since Roosevelt. The problem is no one took it as a life project and serious enough to do the research to correlate everything together to bring it out to the public as it is now. And there's a lot more millions of people out there awake on things that wasn't awake on things before. And they are now starting to see the light a little bit. And I'm hoping you guys see the light as well, because there's so much more out here that needs to have transparency, like the UFO stuff. Supposedly June 25th is the last day that our government has to reveal the UFO stuff on us. Whether they do it before, I doubt it. They'll wait until the day of, okay? And probably right to the minute, okay? So June 24th is the last day on that, and they have to expose it. That was an executive order that made it happen. There's no reversing that, okay? It's all done, and if they don't do it, it's a good way to get themselves impeached, okay? And then that will show you transparency. Now, I have no idea what's coming down the tube, but right now there is little leaks happening on a lot of stuff besides this. And also, you guys need to stay in contact with my Twitter, because things are constantly rolling, okay, right now. Even the stuff on the elections. There are states being overturned left and right. They're finding the proof, and they got the proof. They've got judges now. They've got lawyers now that are starting to overturn all this stuff. They're finding out, and I'm going to put it in the most simplified possible terminology ever on earth for you guys. But basically, it's not a Russia spy situation at all that the Democrats say it is. It is a China operation. And it's the narrative is from being coerced and rehearsed and used and manipulated by the Democrats. Okay. And the money laundering from that country to the Democrats' pockets to other people's agendas. Okay. And then it goes into foundations, and it goes into tax havens, and it goes into black budget projects and programs and things like that. I hate to tell you guys this, but the government's running a double booking system, okay? And everybody wants transparency, but they don't want it because they don't want to show that there is a double booking system in the United States with our government, and that they're hiding money and refunneling it into the black budget programs and projects, okay? So, yeah, it is what it is, and they better start getting transparent, because there's enough of us out here that's going to start revealing it for what it's worth, and they're going to have a situation on their hands, I think, you know? because we're catching them in their lies. We're catching them in with a proof and evidence on a lot of stuff. And anybody that's on the same side as their side is doing stuff is going to pretty much go down with them, I hate to say, you know. So you better come clean, do it early, get it over with, you know. Just say, hey, man, you know, blah, 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 you know. But, yeah, there's going to be some big, big stuff coming down. And I look forward to the one on the 25th. That's going to be colossal. That's going to be colossal. But that's why I'm giving you guys a little stuff here on up to show you some of the little stuff. Now, I'm going to keep going here while I've got my show running, because we also have to talk about this. And I'm just going to put this up. But this is going to be part of my program that I'm going to be talking about maybe tomorrow. Okay, you see the word there. Okay, because that is a rewording of our Space Force. Okay, and I will also, anybody that has UFOs out there or seen UFOs, okay, there is all kinds of them documented here. All kinds of them. And these are not just normal spectator or eyewitness kind of stuff. This is also military spotted stuff. Okay. So, yeah, we got it all. I don't know how far am I in this program so far. Yeah, I'm at the 1 hour mark. All right, let me go. Stay right where you're at. Let me take a break. And we'll go down that rabbit hole. You guys want to go down that rabbit hole? Put it in the comment area. Let me know if you guys want me to continue into the next part of the program, where I'm going to talk about this area. Okay. Put it in the posting there. Put it in the comment area if you want me to continue. So, yeah. But this one here has some very interesting stuff that we're going to talk about. And I also am working on a list of supposedly where or the name of certain breeds of these things are at, or not where they're at, but where they're, what they're called maybe, or what they look like, or, you know, whatever they may be. Because you got to understand something. All the civilization that we have on Earth, okay, we have different ethnics, right, on Earth, right? It's the same way in space. There's different ethnics of terrestrials in space. They come from different regions in space, just like if you come from different regions on Earth. Okay. But anyway, I've been doing this stuff since I was a little kid. I guess I had the natural thing that was like better than AI technology to recognize all this and to filter it out, decode it, and, you know, give it to you guys as best I can, I guess, in layman's terms, and correlations and connecting dots to. So, yeah. How many of you guys want me to show you go down the rabbit hole? Oh, Elcom wants me to go down. Emrys wants me to go down. You guys want me all to go down that rabbit hole? All right. All right. So let's try to go down that rabbit hole. Let me get set up here. Bear with me. And we'll show you a little bit. And then tomorrow's program, we're going to concentrate on that a lot. Okay, we'll just do a little bit tonight because I'm already in an hour. So, yeah. Let me get set up here. So, all right, how many of you guys know about Black Knight? Black Knight is supposedly a alien type of satellite that's over 13,000 years old, supposedly. Okay. And right now, they're actually talking about removing a lot of space junk. Okay. And the magic word was space junk, which means they want to try to bring down Black Knight on Earth and probably examine it and put it underneath a microscope and research it. That's my take on it. Okay. But I don't know. Some of you guys might have seen what black night looks like. I don't know. But it changes into size. So let me see if I can pull this up. This will give you an example. If you see a light in the sky at night and it's really bright, you're not going to see this thing move fast. This is like a normal satellite that moves around, okay? But according to this ancient code text here, it's saying that Black Knight satellite, they believe, is ancient alien technology. It's over 13,000 years old, okay? That's what it looks like. That's it standing upright. Here's the thing. They spotted it not only up in space with lights or no lights on it during the day, but they've actually seen it where it's above the ocean, where it's hovering above the ocean. It doesn't go in the ocean, but it's hovering at the ocean level. You can't hear it. It's totally silent, stuff like that. But yeah, I'll give you a little bit on that one. They call it space junk. And we just heard that in the news, right? Space junk or alien satellite, which they have now evidently inquired upon. And they identify it as a alien satellite because supposedly they've checked with all global governments and nobody's claiming it. So they're remaining a little skeptic on it, but they're saying that they knew about this as an artificial satellite that has caused major media interest since the 50s. So we know that they knew about it back in the 1950s, that it was up there in space, right? So first they thought it was, the Russian spy satellite. Well, that's got to be a Democrat calling that right now, because guess what? Democrats are saying, Russia spied on Trump, or, Trump's working with the spy Russia thing, No, it's not that at all. So anyway, yeah. And so you see objects that they have spotted for a while. And then, they evidently, one of them had a ham radio operator who apparently decoded a series of signals received from this UFO satellite and interpreted as a star chart center somewhere in the Epsilon Boot star system, and that the Black Knight originated from this star system roughly 13,000 years ago. The Epsilon Bootis is a double star in the northern constellation of Bootes, and the tradition name is Izar, and star system that can be viewed with unaided eye of the night. And you can look this up in the Wikipedia. It gives reference here to Wikipedia. And if you need we'll post this tomorrow maybe, or I'll put it in here. This will be a private chat. Okay, cool. All right, so if you're live with me, you've got it in the secret chat. Okay. So anyway, yeah, very interesting information. And supposedly, the 50s was raising the question, but then all of a sudden, the government put them to sleep with the pre-programming stuff so that it wouldn't raise up to a higher level for under the scrutiny kind of thing, right? So it says, let's see, but according to many, discovered that there was much earlier than we thought rumors that it was Nikola Tesla's the first man to intercept a signal from the Otherworld satellite in 1899 after building a high voltage radio device in Colorado Springs. After Tesla discovered the next 30 to 50 years, the signal was being intercepted for more frequently until it was apparently decoded. Since the 1930s, astronomers worldwide have been reporting strange radio signals which allegedly came from this black night. So let's think about this. How many people have heard about people saying, I hear voices, right? Or my phone did something and I'm hearing something that wasn't supposed to be right. And I can see they're trying to get me off this subject because I keep trying to interrupt my interruption here of stuff. But you see what I'm saying? This could be also a source for AI technology. Think about that. You know, because AI technology had to be learned from somewhere, right? Just saying, something to think about. But anyway, it says the space directed and remained the Air Force discovered the satellite that has gone astray, reading it into the Time magazine that was posted in 1954. These are actual articles that you can look up yourself in maybe the Library of Congress, but it came from the Time magazine of the articles in 1954 where it says artificial satellites are circling the Earth, artificial satellites circling the Earth, experts say. So was this, thing a AI technology back in 1950? And it says the Pentagon scared over observance and disputed with identifications of the objects. Dr. Lincoln LaPlez, an actor in New Mexico, headed the identification program 400 miles out while the other one is tracking at 600. Russians had beat them to the U.S. exploring of the sea. Even know what this was, which I think is. But it says here, even in 1960, capture all the areas. And then a third of the camera took the photography, started identifying the object in the sky, different countries, area, object on the radar. It also, we're not allowing Cooper to talk about, I guess, the unidentified object. So they didn't want to talk about it, I guess. Let's see what else. Oops. All right, give me a minute here. So let me give you some more. Here's a little shadowy part. I don't know if you guys can see it where my hand's at there or not. I'll move to a different one where you can see it better, maybe. This is a picture being done by NASA that caught it right here, right where above my little hand there. And then here's another one. And it doesn't have to stand upright. It can stand on its side. So it might look like one of those triangle-shaped type ships, Or it might change to like on another side where it might look like a cigar, I know there's reports on all that. If you belong, there you go. There's a good one right there. I mean, look at that. That's on its belly pretty much. And it kind of looks like some of the stealth fighters right now, There's another picture there. These are all NASA pictures, by the way, I guess. So, yep. And right here, if you go to that link that I gave you guys, on the very bottom gives you all the links to the NASA images of this. You can check it out there. Let me see what else. Okay, these are just comments. So, yeah. All right. So what do you think? What do you think about that? Some of you guys heard about it. Some of it didn't. Yeah, Elcom. I don't know how they're going to get it down. I really don't know, because from what I'm hearing, it has the non-propulsion technology kind of stuff, ancient tech, or the alien technology stuff on it. So I don't know on that. So yeah, it's interesting, definitely interesting. See, everybody's trying to interrupt because they don't want me to talk about the subject. All right, so we're going to give it a break tonight, and watch for my show for tomorrow. I'll probably do it, I don't know when, but sometime during the day tomorrow. We'll continue where I left off, and we'll explore more about this whole 9 yards of this stuff. Okay? All right, just giving you a little tease. All right, we'll see you next time. We'll see you maybe tomorrow. Stay tuned. Make sure you go into the Twitter and you are a follower of my Twitter account. And then once you get in there, there's links in the Twitter account that goes to other areas. Make sure you're following in all those other areas, because at one point or time, if there's any kind of censorship, I could go down and have to pop up another rabbit hole and bring a show to you guys. All right. Until next time, this is Boho with the info. We're out. Thanks for coming.